Hi guys, my name's Seb Tudor, I'm the man on the Silver Mountain, and welcome back. Now today I wanted to talk about the channel. Like what we've been doing, what I've been doing, what I'm trying to do, stuff that I want to do for the future, and addressing some things that people have asked me recently, just because I think I've talked about these maybe in different videos, but not all collected in one place so that people could get to grips with it. And first off, I wanted to say thank you again to everybody because, all of the people who have been watching these videos, whether you've subscribed on just passing through and picked one up and found something useful in it, people have been leaving comments, the majority of which have been either very constructive or, positive. I've tried to reply to a lot of them. Some of them have confused me, which I've kind of not sure how to reply, and so I've kind of left it at that. But I've also been gaining a fair amount of kind of passing comments by email or by my Facebook page to one extent or another, which has again been really nice because most of them have been quite complimentary. There've been always a couple of trolls, always a couple of people who've been more negative, or just vitriolic. But again, firstly, before I go on to say anything else, thank you very much. Now, in regards to a couple of the questions that people have wanted to ask, the first one that I wanted to address was in regards to people wanting to support the channel, which firstly, that'd be great, that's very much appreciated, but a lot of them were asking about things like Patreon and stuff like that, and whilst at some point, maybe that's a thing that I'll do, and whilst the sentiment and the generosity is very much appreciated, at the same time, I don't feel like super happy with doing that at the moment, considering that again there are still like I'm across the whole channel so far over the last like 6 to 8 months or whatever it is, 3,500 and something views total. I'm well, as YouTube has changed and as it's gone, well, you need 10,000 to lifetime views to be monetized properly, and you need to have all these other things, and I'm still trying to make sure that my content is the best that it can be in regards to the quality. Some of my videos have been choppy lately. Some of the things that I've been doing have been kind of a bit to and fro and stuff like that, and so I kind of don't feel right in taking people's money until such time as I can offer more options and more value for that money. But to those people who have asked if how they can support, or if I would want them to support in that way, first off, again, thank you, very generous of you. Might take you up on the future when I actually feel that I can provide the value back. But also the thing that if you want to help me, if you want to support what I'm doing, then please just tell people about my videos, share them with people, start discussions on them, and refer them back. Whatever. If you find someone who you think might kind of benefit from some of the stuff that I've talked about in places like some of the life skill stuff, some of the relationship stuff, some of the various models and things that I've discussed in videos, then please direct them this way, and hopefully they'll gain some benefit from it, because that's why I'm doing this. I love trying to help people, coaching people, developing people, seeing them develop, being able to learn from them as they develop, so I can develop myself. Continually learning, continually questioning. And continually conversing and having that discussion. That's the kind of stuff that has led me here from the stuff that I've been trying elsewhere. It can be a real pain in the ass to try and, as a new coach, come in and try and do big things, just to try and get out there, help people and whatever else, because especially if you're working with businesses, then you get an awful lot of vulture like people who are kind of in it for themselves and screw everybody else. And so when you're coming in and you're talking about working collaboratively, helping people, helping them develop and all the rest of it, sometimes they will try and twist that. And that's what I got sick of. That's why I wanted to bring what I'm learning, what I'm talking about, the things that I look at, and whatever else. I wanted to bring it to a platform where it was more accessible to people, because also even life coaches that are so big, like I don't know, Tony Robbins, probably the largest one on the planet at the moment, who do both business and life coaching and all of these different things. They'll put out videos that are inspiring, or that they're useful and they're interesting and all that kind of thing. But again, if you want more value from it, then it tends to be either behind a paywall or it tends to be hidden. And I'm like, there are so many people that I've met through work, through the other things that I've done outside of work, through coaching, who don't have the capacity to look at those things, to see those things, to get past those paywalls, to go and engage with that content in various ways. Because also a lot of it comes out of America. And one of the things that I've found in some of the stuff that I read even is that it's so very American in the terminology they use, in the way that they address situations and things like that, that like, even though I'm reading through it purely academically and I'm trying to pull out all the interesting bits and pieces that I can either use myself or that I can work with other people, again, that always learning thing, it can be kind of painful and cringy to read, because it's just phrased in such a way that just doesn't work for me. It doesn't like let me take away a good idea from it without that extra feeling of like, that felt a bit slimy as I read it, or that was a bit overly bravado kind of filled, or whatever else, and so I wanted to bring out maybe a bit more measured, a bit more realistic, because sometimes also some of these coaches can be completely bizarre and crazy with some of the things that they kind of attach to it. I've talked to coaches who attach numerology and guardian angels and all kinds of silly things, really daft things to their coaching, which is a very secular kind of evidence-based approach to life and problem solving. And so as a result, I wanted to bring more of that to the fore, because also it can be applied to an awful lot of things. So that's kind of why I'm here again. I've said that before, and it relates back to some things that I was saying a minute ago in regards to people kind of giving me stuff. I'm not here purely to kind of leverage these things in favor of getting money off people. I want to offer value to people. I want to present kind of a really useful set of things, or an entertaining set of things, because sometimes just distraction is the best part. But I'll get onto that in a minute. I want to bring these things to people so that they're accessible, so that they're available, and then hopefully the value that people get out of them, then I can move some of my living onto looking at how I can make these even more available and making them more valuable and doing all of that kind of thing, which is why, again, I don't feel that I can do that yet. And so doing something like a Patreon right now is not the support that I feel I want. Yeah, I don't feel like I can present well enough in regards to kind of an added value aspect. And so support in terms of subscriptions, in terms of viewing the videos and things like that, is what I would really appreciate more than anything else. And to those people who've been leaving likes, leaving comments, watching every video all the way through, and whatever else, those people, thank you very much, because it's very every just view of a video, whether you're kind of really interested in the content, or whether it's just something that, that's kind of, I wonder what this guy's thinking about it, or whatever else, that's really appreciated. And especially if you're engaging with me afterwards in the comments, or sending me an email or whatever, that's great. That's really helpful. But then moving on, one of the other questions that I've got a fair amount recently is, I half of my content on the average week tends to be kind of more gaming related content, and it's like, yeah it is. And the reason why is because coaching and the stuff that I want to bring to people, it can be as much about addressing things that are hobbies or things that are unimportant to you in the grand scheme of things, but are still important to you on a personal level. It's there. And in regards to the gaming that I do, the reason why I spend time on gaming, or I talk about, like in my video last week, where I feel that the kind of balance issues in Paladins or whatever else, it's all of those videos are ones where it's like, okay, well, let's take a look at a problem. Yeah, Subnautica, great example. One of the series of videos that people have apparently really enjoyed, to one extent or another. You know, if you look at those videos, it's you're thrown into an adverse situation with limited resources but a vast number of options, and so as a result, that I feel is a good way to look at life. It's a good way to for me to come in every week, and go, right, so coaching wise, we're looking at a goal, we're looking at whether or not it's reasonable for me to achieve that goal in like this video. We're looking at the options that I have. I can take you guys with me wandering farming whilst I'm just rambling, or I can do whatever else. And then we're going to achieve the goal towards the end, hopefully, and then we'll have the thing and we can prepare for the next time when we come back in. You know, it'd be like a weekly session with where I'm coaching someone. Yeah, it's just that in this case, I'm coaching myself and you guys are coming along for the ride. Yeah? As I've said before in some of the other videos I've done on gaming, you know, it being such an interactive medium really allows it to be a really useful training tool for various other aspects. You know, when you've got counsellors, I think in Sweden, Norway, maybe, something like that, using Dungeons and Dragons to help troubled kids open up, you know, or allow for kids to step into other people's shoes so that they can have a better appreciation of like another person's perspective and stuff like that. You know, those are really good examples of how the kind of controlled system for a game can then be applied to something that's real world, real life, and you know, as a result, allows for some learning, allows for some development. You know, in a safe place that doesn't really affect anything else. You can go, you can do these things, and you can come out the other side, and you can feel better. You can have a great appreciation of some skills that you might need, or you've developed as part of the doing. You know, like I can say right now, I was absolutely terrible with money when I was a kid, because I would get money and I would be like, I want this thing. I'd maybe save up that amount and then I'd spend it. But then with both working and handling large amounts of money every day, but also the kind of the amount of playing of MMOs and resource management games and strategy games and things like that when I was younger, you know, that allowed me a greater appreciation of how better to budget, how better to manage resources to make sure that I had enough left over for the next project, for the next thing that I wanted to do, to try and work things. You know, and it's difficult. Yeah, it's always a juggling kind of thing, and it's always that should I save it or can I not take it with me, and so I may as well use it now kind of juggle. But again, it's like it's a skill, a real world skill that got further development as a result of me doing kind of some completely trivial tasks. And so as a result, with the other things the I've been asked, you've got people asking me why I'm touching on politics, or why I'm touching on relationship advice and things like that, and it simply comes down to the fact that with kind of relationships and conversations and things like that, those are the important things that make up part of our experience. They're the ways that we achieve goals. You know, we need other people around us. We can't just operate purely by ourselves all the time. And so, yeah, those relationship things, it's how I got into coaching. It's how it's an awful lot of what I still do when people come to talk to me about things that are more coaching based. And so as a result, yeah, I want to bring those things to you guys. I want to have those discussions, but also then in regards to politics and stuff like that, as I said in my video about taking the more philosophical view of things, you know, everything is connected, and not in an airy fairy kind of new age kind of way, but in regards to, you know, the financial system and the political system are affected to are connected and affect how people at the bottom of the ladder are, people who are trying to succeed, people who are trying to get somewhere, or to gain education, or to create a family, buy a house, whatever. And all of these things, all of these, you know, are setting up a business, or talking about raising a family, or discussing the the ins and outs of your relationship with me and all those kind of things are all impacted by stuff that happens at the top and trickles down, or stuff that you're doing at the bottom is going to go up, and as a result of it going up the chain, you're going to have other circumstances that you're going to have to work through, and that's again where people will come and talk to me. And so yeah, that's one of the reasons why I've got kind of my month in review stuff, because you've got big things that are maybe some of which are important, some of which are unimportant, but they are representative of things that are happening to other people around the place, or they're just interesting. Like the number of times more recently people have gone, why are you still covering kind of month in Trump stuff? It's like, because he's the leader of the free world at the moment, and it's not someone, he's not like a stable leader that can be trusted. He's someone that is potentially doing things that then have ripples and cascades that will affect more people, and so as a result I feel like it's important to talk about it, because especially when he was elected kind of through a weird cult of personality and through a odd populist kind of movement, having that still kind of continue to roll on with some supporters going, oh well, he'll betray us but we will never betray him, it just shows the blindness of people. And part of being a coach is raising people's awareness of things, and that's what I'm trying to do by continuing to cover those things. So that's the rationale behind that. The last one, which I know I've mentioned in the past somewhere, but why am I the man on the Silver Mountain? Well, simply put, it's both a really inspiring song that was originally by the band Rainbow, that I personally prefer the version done by the kind of Viking metal band Hammerfall, but the lyrics to the song basically describe kind of where I see my role being, kind of a man sat on a mountain waiting for you to turn up, and then I will guide you and I'll help you on your journey up, and so as a result, that's why my company is called Silver Mountain Coaching, because the imagery there, the kind of hero's journey imagery, and the way that I can tell that story to help my clients maybe think about things in a slightly different way, and especially as a different way to approach their problems, that's kind of a really useful and important thing. Maybe it's a bit of a gimmick, but at the same time, hey, if it works and if people kind of resonate with it, then that's fine. Yeah, and also, as I said, it was an inspiring song to me. It was something that sat very well with me, and that just kind of worked when I wanted to do a thing, when I was like, this is a description of what I do. I'm not the hero in the story by any means, but I'm going to be the Obi-Wan Kenobi sat in the background, like giving you a hand along the way. That's kind of where I wanted to be. That was what I took away from the song, and that's where I've then kind of gone with it in regards to both the name on the channel and the name of my company, and kind of where I see myself. But anyway, those are the questions I've been asked. But then plans for the future, things that I'd love to hear your thoughts on, whether or not you'd like it or not. Stuff like that. And the one that sticks out at the moment is, yes, I'm still trying to deal with like the occasional choppy video and work out why it's doing it. I mean, it seems to have calmed down again over the last few days when I've been recording, but we'll see if it rears its ugly head again. But also, especially over the summer, where it's going to be incredibly warm, and I don't do well in the heat anyway, so I might very well be melting. But instead of then me sitting down and maybe trying to do shorter videos or whatever else, I was thinking, what would you guys think about me maybe doing a live stream? Either it's trying to just testing it out, seeing if I can make it work on YouTube, and seeing how it all pans out. I'm not sure when it would be. I don't know how I'd manage it yet, but it would actually having some kind of discussion whilst playing a game or whilst doing whatever. Tell me what you guys would think. Would you like just to have a conversation stream where I'm sat here and I've got the chat open and we're having a discussion about stuff? You can ask me questions, we can have discussions, we can have debates in a kind of very roundabout way, or would you prefer to have me playing a game, maybe answering a few things from chat, whatever else, maybe sitting down and trying to get the rest of the way to player level 30 or account level 30 for Paladin, so I can get my Makoa skin and whatever else, or something like that. Maybe picking up another game that I've got at my disposal that would be good for a long kind of maybe 1-2 hour let's play or something like that, or let's play live stream, sorry, to just go through and we can have a chat whilst we're doing it, especially if it's maybe like maybe I could do some more Darkest Dungeon, I don't know, but let me know what you guys think. Tell me what you guys think down in the comments. Yeah, no, otherwise, again, a big thank you to both all the people who have been with me for a while now, and also the people who have recently signed up. I mean, I know that I got 2 new subscribers as of this morning, which was a very nice thing to come and sit down at my PC and take a look at and see. So again, thank you very much to both new and old, and yeah, any support would be appreciated in regards to helping us get the word out there and starting more conversations, and you know, if I can help more people, then that would be great. But thank you very much, guys, and I'll see you in the video tomorrow. Take care.